most marketing managers or CEOs, they based their decisions on incomplete and even wrong data nowadays. And that's what happens when you choose or make decisions based on your data within GA4. So GA4 now it is biased. We have a lot of blockers, and GA4 even prefers other Google channels to visualize as a better channel. So for example, we had a customer that ran Google Ads, had a GA4 and ran Meta Ads. However, we saw that, for example, the Google Ads unbranded gave the highest revenue for, well, this company. However, when we looked at the first party data, we saw that Meta Ads was actually the right runner for his campaign and made sure that most revenue, or the first step for the people making the complete checkout, was based on metadata. So what we did is that we shifted the budget from Google to Meta, and now we even went over the KPIs that we had in mind. So what we see is that a lot of people are making their decisions based on the wrong data, based on the data that they have, which is actually incomplete data, which is a bummer. Hi, my name is Nian. I'm the founder and the owner of FunnelView. And with FunnelView, we help marketing managers, growth managers, but also CEOs to visualize their data, to have a complete data overview, a correct data overview, but also help them with the analysis and the next steps that they need to make to get to their KPIs and OKRs. And to give you a little bit of an overview of how we do it. So first we use Databox to connect all the data that we have and to visualize the metrics that are in the channel itself. So for example, reach, impressions, engagements, that's all what things in the metric or in the channel itself, which we take from the API connections from Databox. Then we add the first party data where we can actually see the roadmaps. So the first click, last click, everything in between. We're able to see, okay, what was the first channel that they come in? What was the roadmap or the path that they went through? And then maybe they went away and then they came back later on, and which channel was that? And where did they actually make the conversion? So we're able to create the full funnel, and we're visualizing the full funnel, or even the customer journey, so to say, to give it a little bit bigger. And what we do with the data is that we get the report and we use another system and we make an automatic analysis. So you are able to get back in your email or wherever you want to have it. You get your overview within the data based on complete data and real data. You get a summary and you get your next steps and growth hacking experiments to take next steps to get to your KPIs or even above. Also, to give you a little bit of an example, because I think that's important as well. Here we connected a little bit with the database and we put it next to GA4. So as you can see, the database here gives us an example of where our customer audience is. And this is the GA4 data. So this is in the Netherlands, by the way. So these are cities in the Netherlands. So if I wanted to do a location targeting, I would rather put my money into the south of Holland. However, if I look at the database, I rather put my money in the north of Holland. So this is very little data, it's very small, but it already shows how big of a change it can give you. And that's what you get when you get all the data, you get the metrics, which are actually true within the platform itself. And then when you go to the next platform, we make sure that we connect the dots and you're able to create your decisions based on complete data, on real data, and that there are no obstacles on the way for you to get your targets.